United States President Donald Trump said the war against Iran was advancing rapidly, even as Tehran's new leader pledged defiance in his first public message since taking power.
Speaking at the White House during a Women's History Month event alongside First Lady Melania Trump, Trump said the situation with Iran was moving very rapidly and insisted that the United States military remains unmatched. He also described Iran as a nation defined by terror and hatred that was now paying a significant price. Trump's comments came after several days of mixed signals about the conflict's trajectory. In recent statements, he had declared that the United States had already warned against Iran and suggested the war could end very soon, while at other moments emphasizing the need to continue fighting. The U.S. president did not directly respond to remarks from Iran's newly elevated supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, who vowed revenge and declared that Iran would maintain a chokehold on the strategic Strait of Hormuz. The threat has sent global oil prices surging as tanker traffic through the vital shipping lane has nearly halted. Iran responded by warning that the United States would regret attacking the Islamic Republic and repeated its pledge to keep pressure on the Strait of Hormuz, further rattling energy markets. Mojtaba Khamenei, who has reportedly been wounded, has not appeared publicly since his nomination as Supreme Leader. His message calling for vengeance was delivered by a news anchor on Iranian state television. Tensions escalated further when a massive fire erupted at fuel tanks in Bahrain following an attack the government blamed on Iran. The International Energy Agency warned that the expanding Middle East conflict was triggering the largest oil supply shock in history after Iran launched a fresh wave of strikes against energy infrastructure across the Gulf. Amid the disruption, United States Energy Secretary Chris Wright said the American military was not yet ready to escort commercial tankers through the Strait of Hormuz because its resources were currently focused on operations against Iran. In an interview with CNBC, he says escorts would likely happen relatively soon, but could not begin immediately because all military assets were concentrating on destroying Iran's offensive capabilities and the industry supporting them. Wright said it was quite likely that escort missions would be underway by the end of the month. The conflict also widened elsewhere in the region as new strikes were seen early this morning over southern Beirut in Lebanon. The Israel Defense Forces said it had carried out several waves of attacks targeting command posts belonging to the militant group Hezbollah in Beirut and southern Lebanon. The Israeli military said the facilities were being used by Hezbollah fighters to coordinate attacks against Israel and its citizens. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he had already warned the Lebanese government that Israel would move to disarm Hezbollah itself if Beirut failed to act. He said the Lebanese government were playing with fire by allowing the group to continue operating in violation of commitments to dismantle it, adding that Israel would intervene directly if the government did not. Diplomatic tensions have also intensified at the United Nations, where the United States and its Western allies clash with Russia and China over Iran's nuclear ambitions. Addressing the Council, United States envoy Mike Waltz accused Moscow and Beijing of shielding Tehran by obstructing the work of the so-called 1737 Committee. He said both countries opposed an effective sanctions body because they wanted to protect their partner Iran and continue defense cooperation that is now prohibited. Russia's ambassador to the United Nations, Vasily Nebenzia, rejected the accusation and argued that the United States and its allies will feel hysteria about Iran's nuclear program. China's representative to the United Nations, Fu Kong, also criticized Washington and described the United States as the instigator of the Iranian nuclear crisis. He said the American decision to use force against Iran during negotiations had undermined diplomatic efforts. Meanwhile, Iranian retaliatory attacks have disrupted daily life across Gulf states. Authorities in Kuwait announced the cancellation of public events and banned celebrations during Eid al-Fitr, making the first Gulf government to impose such restrictions.